here.
Yes, totally, I know, exactly, this.
All right, welcome back, everyone. We have a new member of our group who's joined us, and I think you all may already know Lauren, but I'll let Lauren introduce herself, and we asked, what did we ask for? One, how you're feeling. So, introduce yourself and then just a quick check-in about how you're feeling right
Sure. Hi, everybody. I think I know everyone. I'm Lauren. I am wiped. That is my emotion word. I've just been on a rapid fire trip to DC to participate in an all-day grant review, which in and of itself is a little tiring, but I'm super happy to be here and excited about this kickoff and training, and excited to hear a little bit more how the last day and a half has gone. So I'm glad to be here, and I'll be here Monday too, for the second half of Monday. And I think most people here know that I've had some experience facilitating Learning to Breathe and getting supervision from Patricia Broderick, who's the developer, and I'm excited to work with all of you to get you familiar with the program, or more familiar with the program. Some of you already know it. I'm excited to collaborate with Rachel and Doug on this initiative.
now. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to start with a mindful moment. So I'd like you all to get comfortable, stretch if you need to stretch, just do a little bit of movement, and then settle into a space that is very comfortable for you. You can close your eyes if that is also comfortable. If not, a soft gaze a few feet ahead of you, right onto the floor. Try and have your back straight but not stiff. Shoulders relaxed. Facial muscles relaxed. Hands resting comfortably in your lap, on your thighs. I invite you to take a deep breath through your nose and let the breath come out of your mouth like a soft sigh. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Try and make the out breath slow and long. Go ahead and try that again. In through the nose, release gently as a sigh. Now just pay attention to the in-breath and the out-breath. There's only one thing to do now. Just feel the breath move. Notice the sensations of breathing. Focus on those sensations until the sound of the bell. Welcome. Thank you. So I am curious about how it's going for you outside of class. Anybody have thoughts or ideas to share experiences about trying mindfulness outside of class?
I totally forgot what we were supposed to do.
Okay.
So I didn't do it.
Okay. So one of the great things about mindfulness is you'll always have a chance to try again. So you'll always have that opportunity to start again, to try again. Anybody else? Anybody give it a try?
I guess I kind of did.
Do you want to share it with us?
Well, I was just on a trip and I had to give a talk and I was kind of nervous, and so I just noticed the feeling of getting anxious in my body.
So you paid attention to what your body was doing. Did you notice it in a particular place in your body?
Yeah, like kind of in my chest, creeping up to my throat, just kind of like this prickly feeling, and maybe my heart starting to beat faster. My cheeks getting a little flushed, feeling a little warmer.
And when you noticed that, Lauren, what happened then?
Well, I think I had the thought that it was probably pretty normal, and I recognize the signs because I feel that way sometimes when I have to talk in front of a lot of other people.
So you noticed your body, you noticed your thought, and then did it stay with you?
No, it didn't.
Okay.
It kind of passed actually a little more quickly because I had done this same kind of talk before, same kind of presentation, so it kind of went on.
So Lauren had a chance to practice some of her mindfulness skills. And we can find these opportunities in almost all of our daily experiences to practice our mindfulness activities. So let's remind all of us about what mindfulness is. Who remembers what we were talking about mindfulness is?
Paying attention on purpose.
Okay, so we're paying attention on purpose
So right now,
to right now, so in the present moment. And how else? Remember, we brought a particular quality to that attention. Non-judgmentally. And remind me what non-judgmentally means. What does non-judgmentally mean to you all?
Not really saying it's good or bad, it's just there.
It's just there, like Lauren said. That was just an experience. That was just a thought. It wasn't a good or bad thought necessarily, a good or bad feeling. Just noticing. And so last week we practiced mindfulness listening. Remember, we listened for the sounds, and we practiced mindfulness of our body. We remember the body scan. We sort of watch what happened in different parts of our body. We're going to do some different kinds of activities now. And this week, do you remember each week there's a different letter that's associated with our theme? Now we are going to talk about the letter R, the theme R, reflections or thoughts. And one thing that we can think about our thoughts is that our thoughts are just thoughts. We don't have to be too attached to those thoughts. We don't have to follow those thoughts. Did any of you have thoughts during our open mindfulness activity, our opening mindfulness activity? Did you find your mind wandering to a thought?
Yeah, I started thinking of everything I had to do after our class.
Okay, so our mind wanders a bit. Anybody else have thoughts during that time? I did. Few thoughts, a lot of thoughts,
just a few.
just a few.
me it was a lot of chatter.
The same thought, different thoughts? Was your mind bouncing around or going back to the same thought?
I found the breathing really relaxing. It was really nice the way you kind of walked us through the breathing, so that kind of was nice.
It was nice. Did it help you focus your attention?
Yeah, I think I was focusing mostly on my breath and the words you were saying.
So thank you, Lauren. Our thoughts, our brains are really amazing organs. They generate so many thoughts throughout the day. And there's absolutely no way that we can attend to all of the thoughts and everything that's coming to us. So our brains are made to be able to filter out some things. But our brains are also made to process all of this information, and it can generate these thoughts. And sometimes those thoughts are really helpful and useful, and sometimes they're distracting of our focus. Brains are going to help us think and solve problems. We talked about the different capacities of the brain. No, we didn't talk about that with you. We talked about it with the Foundations course. Step back. Sorry, I'm mixing up my trainings here. So we can be aware of how our brains are generating these thoughts throughout the day. There's a constant chatter inside our brains about these thoughts, but we don't really have to pay attention to all of them. So I'm going to pass out some pieces of paper here for you, and you'll each get one piece of paper here. And what I'm going to ask you to do is to write down some of your thoughts. Not right now, but you'll all have a chance to write down your thoughts. I'm going to read a story to you. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and to listen carefully as I read you a story. I want you to imagine yourself as the character in the scene that I'm going to describe. As best as you can, notice your thoughts. Notice how you're feeling as you imagine what's happening. And I'm going to read the story now. Imagine that your new friend at school has asked you to go to a big game. It's on a weeknight after school. You're very excited about this because lots of people from your school will be there. Your parents are working late tonight, so you rushed home and got your homework done in time. Now you're all ready and waiting by the door for your friend to come so that you can go together. You wait for a long time. It gets really dark and your new friend never shows up. Just then, your mom walks in and sees you waiting. She asks, "Did you forget that it's Wednesday? That game is on Thursday night." Okay. Go ahead and open your eyes. What I'd like you to do now is write down your thoughts and feelings about the story in the 2 circles at the top of the page. Write thoughts in the first circle and feelings in the second circle. Okay. So, who would like to share some of the thoughts that they have?
I thought, oh, I'm so stupid.
I'm so stupid.
I thought, what happened? Why did they forget me at first?
I'm so stupid. Why did they forget me? What else? What other thoughts did you have?
Did I do something wrong?
Did I do something wrong? So our minds are thinking, I'm so stupid. Why did they forget me? Did I do something wrong? What about feelings? How were you feeling as you were trying to be this character?
Confused.
Confused. What's going on?
Embarrassed.
Sorry, I didn't hear.
I said anxious
Anxious
and embarrassed.
and embarrassed
Disappointed.
and disappointed. I'm missing this out. So were these pleasant thoughts, pleasant feelings, unpleasant thoughts, unpleasant feelings mostly? Unpleasant, mostly unpleasant. Did you notice any connection between thoughts and feelings and how your brain was working?
That's made me feel bad.
Your thoughts made you feel bad. So if you're thinking, I'm so stupid, you can have an unpleasant feeling about that thought too. So, I should have been writing these on the board. I apologize for that. We have
They're great.
these markers will work.
They should. I think they're Expo, right?
If you need a eraser here, please.
Oh.
Sorry about that.
Okay. So we had thoughts. I'm so stupid. What were the other thoughts? Reagan, you had a thought?
Why did they forget me?
Got me.
Did I do something wrong?
And what were the feelings?
Disappointed.
Embarrassed.
Embarrassed.
Anxious.
Okay. And so, what we've noticed is that we can have certain thoughts that come into our mind while we're experiencing something, and this can lead to particular feelings. So if we thought we were stupid, maybe that made us feel a little bit anxious, or maybe that made us feel a little bit embarrassed. What if we thought, oh no, they forgot me? How might we feel if we had that thought?
Sad.
Bad?
Sad.
Sad. Yeah, they forgot me, so I feel kind of sad. So the way we think about things and the way we feel about those things are connected in really important ways. Very strong connection between our thoughts and our feelings. So now, I'm going to read the story again, and I'm going to disclose to you all that I only printed out one page, and so I read the second story instead of the first story. So I'm going to read this first story and try and forget that Mom comes home. All right, so here we go. You can't do this with the kid, right? So get comfortable again, close your eyes, and I'm going to read the story again. Imagine that your friend at school has asked you to go to a big game. It's on a weeknight after school. You're very excited about this because lots of people from your school will be there. Your parents are working late tonight, so you rushed home and got your homework done in time. Now you're all ready and waiting by the door for your friend to come so that you can go together. You wait for a long time. It gets really dark, and your new friend never shows up. Just then, your mom walks in and sees you waiting. She asks, "Did you forget that it's Wednesday? That game is on Thursday night." Okay. So now, full disclosure, first time you read it, it wouldn't have Mom returning. So, second, full disclosure, if you're going to use one of the substitution activities, make sure you put in the full substitution activity. So I only copied one of the pages, and there are two readings of this. So write down some of the feelings that you might have during this time. Maybe there's some of the same things, maybe they're different. Okay, so let's just pretend. What did you notice was different about your thoughts and feelings in these two situations?
When I realized that it was a different day, I thought they didn't actually forget me, and I felt relief.
Okay, so you felt more relief. They didn't really forget me.
I also felt a little annoyed with myself that I forgot it was the wrong day.
The wrong day. Pleasant thoughts, unpleasant thoughts? Similar both times?
Similar, but more relief of the unpleasant ones.
More relief. Okay, still had some unpleasant,
Yeah.
but more relief at the end.
And the second time I was also able to focus more on the positive feelings at the beginning of the story, but I almost didn't remember by the time we were writing them the first time around. Like, I felt kind of like responsible and like proud of myself for doing my homework, things like that too.
So the way that we perceive things really influences how we feel. Our mind can also jump to conclusions about things if we're not really being mindful. So we have these built-in ways in our mind that we process information, and sometimes we process it in a negative way when it doesn't really have to be in a negative way. We create these stories about the ways that our lives are, and then we sort of live out these stories in our mind. And those stories, those thoughts are connected to our feelings. If we're able to be more mindful, if we're able to really pay attention to that, then we can really focus in on what's actually happening and not let our mind go to those things that might not really be fully true in that moment. Okay. So we're going to do another activity now. And this will also be a way for us to demonstrate that the brain generates certain thoughts. And some of them can really get stuck. Some of these thoughts are really sticky. It's hard to get rid of them. I don't know if any of you have had that experience where you have a thought and sometimes it's hard to get rid of it. And let's try an experiment about what thoughts could do. I need to ask for a volunteer. Who would like to volunteer? Oh, I got 3 all of a sudden. You know what? I will take, I'll take all 3 of you. And I'm going to, you're going to need a little bit of space. And one person gets to be in the chair. Who wants to sit in the chair? All right, there you go. Melanie's going to sit in the chair. And I have 2 volunteers. I would like 2 more volunteers. Okay, hop up. So Melanie is going to represent all of us. She is a person just like all of us, okay, with all of our experiences. And then what I'm going to do is ask each of the other people, volunteers, to be thoughts. And your thoughts are going to represent one of the people in our lives. Okay? Each of you will get a thought on the back that you can pull out. You're a parent. Okay? And in the back of your envelope, teacher and self. In the back of the envelope is a phrase that you can pull out. And what I'd like you to do is the 4 of you can spread out around Melanie. I'm going to move this back too for you. And you'll begin to walk around Melanie, and then beginning with our teacher, I want our teacher to say her phrase. And then our friend will say her phrase, then our parent, and then ourselves. And then just keep walking around and keep saying the phrase.
This test is worth 40% of your grade.
Why are you always studying so much?
Hurry up and finish, or you'll be late.
What if I fail this test?
This test is worth 40% of your grade.
Now I'm going to give Melanie a test to do. This is a math test. What I'd like you to do is start working on that math test. Our people keep walking around and keep making your statements.
Why
There
are
you
you
go.
always studying so much?
Hurry up and finish, or you'll be late.
What if I fail this test?
Now all of you can say it at the same time.
This test is worth
Why are you always
40% of your
studying
grade.
so much?
What if I fail
This
this
test
test?
is worth
What if
40%
What if I
of
fail
your
this
grade.
test?
Why
This
are
test
you
is
What if
worth
I fail this
40% of your
test?
grade.
What if I
Why
fail
are
this
you
test?
finishing or late?
What if I fail this test?
This
Why are
test
you
is
always
worth
What if I fail
40%
this
of your
test?
grade.
What if
I
I
failed
fail
this
the
test?
40% of your
Why are
grade?
you always
What if I
studying
fail
so
this
much?
test?
Test is really
40% of your grade.
What if I fail this test?
This
This test
really
is worth
studying
40%
so
of your grade. What if I fail
Hurry
this
up,
test?
and always studying
This test
so
is
much.
worth
What if
40%
I
of
fail
your
this
grade.
Thank you all very much. Thank you, Melanie. So I'll take your phrases, if you can put that back, and I'll take your math
Thank you
test.
so much.
I did feel that thank you.
Did I really mean
So-
that? I know. Oh,
So,
wow.
Melanie, what was that like for you?
I was like freezing up. I answered like 2.5 questions of this whole sheet. In the beginning, before I knew I was gonna have to solve math problems, the first thing I noticed, just like looking around the room, is that these are all kind of people in my life where I've like,
You don't have to be in the room.
yeah, I've like cared about their opinions, and it was really interesting to have a card for the self. Like that's not like a person in my life that I'm used to thinking of as having like an important role, which is crazy, because yeah, I don't know, I just hadn't thought about that, but like teacher, parent, friends are all important people in my life.
How did it affect your concentration?
A lot, yeah. I wasn't able to really perform on that test at all, hearing you guys.
Okay,
talking
so
around me.
these kinds of thoughts that we have walking around us and in our head can really affect our concentration and can affect the performance, our performance on tests, other things that we do in life. Can you tell us how it made you feel?
Overwhelmed. And like there was a lot of expectation on me and I wasn't meeting that.
Overwhelmed, so these thoughts were making her feel overwhelmed. Okay? And our mind feels this way sometimes. Everybody's mind feels that way as we pay attention to those thoughts. So were those thoughts